life. Oh, yeah.
It's very pixelated.
That picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a great picture to begin with, and I don't know why the thumbnails have been
Low res.
really yeah. I tried to do a search to see if I could figure out what was going on, but couldn't really see anything. Oh, that's a sound check. Checkity check, checkity check, check.
You don't even have your hat on.
What? What?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Don't even need one.
No, you do.
I don't even need a hat. Going hatless. Why are you sending black to the screen? Why are you sending black?
Why are you sending your nose hairs?
That's how I check it.
Stop. Nobody wants to see that. It's weird. It's unsettling.
It's my niche. It's what I do.
Unsettle people?
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's my thing.
Stop. You know
What?
you know that unsettles me.
You're unsettled?
I'm unsettled. Down in front.
Down in front. We will be going officially live right now, I guess. Say hi to the boys and girls, Bessy.
Hi, boys and girls. Hi, Marty. Oh, he can hang out. There's no game tonight.
Uh-oh. I don't know why I'm doing this.
I have no idea.
Actually know that
I don't think he will.
So, been having a lot of fun with the spells. I hope you guys, and I apologize that I haven't sent out any more information really on it. I need to send out more
Hey, it's
information.
8:01.
What?
It's 8:01.
Yeah, I was talking. I was actually started.
Were you starting? Because you didn't say hi.
Me. That was me.
I just heard you blabbering
and talking to people. Apparently, Bessy wants me to say something like, "Hey, everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and I am with the world's most dangerous Bessy." That's my favorite part.
This part?
Yeah.
Do it again.
It's my favorite part. Oh, see if I have glasses over here. Oh, I do. I'll go get glasses.
Are you sure you
I feel like I want something to drink too. I think I'll run up to Sonic. Will you
give me a real lemonade?
Give me a beverage up at Sonic. Oh, I need to pull the car in. I'll be right back. I need to pull the car into the garage.
Give me a beverage.
Is anybody else in here feel the way
Let's see. What do we want to talk about?
Is Charlie on here tonight? I think Charlie's this Sunday.
Charlie is
Charlie,
this Sunday.
Mr. Stout? Charlie Stout? That's the right last name, isn't it?
Yes,
okay.
It is.
For some reason, I was second guessing. Mr. Dennis Cross in Kansas. Perkysaurus. Big and bold and twice as natural. That's what they say about
I'm enchanted,
Perkysaurus.
so I should be teaching at Hogwarts.
Oh.
I pay you to
Red
say
Mist is on here from Parts Unknown. I think it's actually Arizona, but Tuscan. Oh, no, Tucson.
Tuscan. How embarrassing. I'm drinking that.
Yep. It tastes a little bit like dirt.
I know, I've tried it.
It's been rubbed in dirt. I don't know what BTS is. What is that? Burn the Stage? Is that
behind the scenes?
K-pop band?
Burn the Stage is right, but behind the scenes is also possibly. I have something in my eyeball, so I can't read this.
What'd you say?
It's behind the scenes. In that context, it's behind the scenes.
Making of the cards. Yeah. Yeah, I felt so bad that I screwed up and deleted that video on that I was supposed to post.
Ooh.
So yeah, I figured, well, let's just I'll just like go. Oh, Marty says he wants the on-air light on.
I tried to turn it on, but it's
Oh, is the batteries out?
it's just real low. Yeah. So maybe I'll
She says it's on.
well,
Yeah,
I did turn
it's
it on.
on.
He saw me turn it on, but it's
Yeah, it's definitely has lost some of its glow. And it's battery operated. I don't think it has a place to plug in any kind of
okay. It's not
power.
important. Let's talk about our stuff. Do you want me
Oh,
to read you a
there is.
question?
Oh, I think there might be.
Like a USB something?
I think there might be a USBA. USBA.
USB.
An USBA. Oh, perky.
I liked it, Perky.
Perky.
I liked it.
Oh. Oh. Hey, there's a Vern Jeske and a Manny Marino and a Mark McKinley on here. And an Eric Miller. And a Damian Larson. And a Nay. Oh! So we're going to do another Magic game scenario, playing some casting of the spells.
Oh,
pretty much going to use what we used last week. Same characters, same spells, some of the same stuff. This is the scenario that got deleted. I played with Rob, and he came over, and we played through the scenario with the magic rules and yada yada. And he had a tough time of it, but I think the real reason he had such a hard time is that I only used 3 sidekicks instead of 4. So I think not having that 4th character made a big difference. Because the scenario pretty much assumes that you're going to have an actual league, right?
Yeah.
So at most, it the scenario suspects you probably have a leader level character out there. So if you're not going to have a leader level character, then adding that extra sidekick is really the balancing factor. Yeah. So I think shame on me for picking on poor Rob, but
are you adding a 4th this time?
Yeah. So it'll be the 4 that we used before. Ginny Weasley and Harry Potter and Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger.
You want to ask a question?
Okay. You have questions for me?
On a check, do I have to roll at least 1 success?
And these questions are, I think they're almost all about the spell rules. So, yes, on a check, you've got to roll at least 1 success, and that would count for all of the spells for the most part. You're going to have to get a success, except for the ones that are opposed. And and it'll tell you, the spell will say when it is opposed, and if it is opposed, then not only do you have to roll at least 1 success, you also have to roll more successes than the opponent did, than your target did. And that's what allows you to get that spell cast. Now, we toyed with the idea and we kind of play tested this a little bit. And I think we've figured out what we want, but I'll just go ahead and say it because people are going to ask and stuff. So, like, if you roll 3 successes and the opponent rolls 2 successes, well, then the spell is cast and it has its full effect. In other words, the power of that spell is still a 3. In other words, they did not subtract 2 and knock it down to a power of 1. Now, we tried it both ways. And right now we're leaning towards keeping it at its full power. So if it happens, then it happens.
Yeah. It happens, it happens.
Now, there will be spells that, and if you guys have seen some of the enchantments and stuff like that that we've used, there will be spells that actually do mitigate some of the power of the spell. Spell shield, if you put spell shield up, then that can actually, if they throw a spell at you, then it kicks off um, some of the power of the spell and could stop it from getting through completely, or it could blast the spell shield down and still affect the character on the other side. But one way or another, spell shield will kind of protect you from spells by mitigating some of the power of the spell. And so power is a very specific thing. Any complex spells, whatever that means. No, not really. Not that I could really think of. One of my favorite Steve Miller Band songs.
Abra, abra, cadabra. I wanna reach out and grab you. I might could sing the whole thing, but we'll just leave it at that.
There are multi-turn castings and summonings, and those are not what we're working on right now, though. So what we're working on right now are enchantments and ephemerals. And the category that we use on our multi-turn castings and summonings is called rituals. So the rituals are spells that can, once you start casting them, woogity 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 woo, you could stand there and just cast it the whole game. Woogity 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 woo. Just depending on what it is, you know. It could be something that gives your side a bonus. It could be something that gives the enemy a penalty. It could be that sort of stuff. So there are rituals that could be cast.
You probably don't be making those kind of signs. Because that's hip hop. Okay. Armor versus spells. Does armor protect you from spells such as Fragor?
Yes. Yeah. Right now they do. And I think they will. So that what happens is armor is a very specific. We want the magic rules to live as lightly on the game as possible. That means we don't want it to crush other parts of the game.
Yeah.
We don't want it to have too many other effects beyond what it is supposed to do. So in other words, we don't necessarily want it to affect the armor ability. And what armor says is that you get a bonus dice when you have to roll a health check. So fine, go ahead. That's how you choose to live your life. Be armored. And yes, if a spell does something that makes you roll a health check, then armor kicks in. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Mishap. What happens when I fail to cast a spell?
Oh, listen to this. This is kind of exciting. And this is something that we've gone back and forth on a little bit. So I need some feedback on this. And I got a list.
Oh, dear God.
I got a list for you here. So what happens if you fail to cast a spell, and basically there's failing to cast an opposed roll, which basically an opposed spell, which basically means that you rolled fewer successes than the opponent did, or the same. But if you try to cast a spell and roll 0 successes, if you get 0 successes, then a mishap could occur. And right now, what we're thinking is that you have the option. If you fail to roll any successes on your spell, you may choose to randomly discard one of your fortune cards. That's the cost. That's the price of failure. Magic sucking a little bit of your luck away from you. Or you may draw one card from the spell mishaps stack. And here are some of the things that could happen.
All right, lay it on me. You need me to read it?
The spell has no effect. Okay, that's the little one. The The spell has no effect and you must discard a card. Spell has no effect and the character, friend, or enemy nearest to the caster suffers 1 hit. It's not the caster that suffers the hit right now, though, because obviously the caster would always be the nearest person. But the friend or foe nearest to the caster suffers 1 hit. I find that one amusing. A perilous area appears directly around the caster, but they can move away from it. It does not follow them. It just appears on the table, and if they can climb out of it, then they climb out of it. Another one is called Ether Tempest, and it creates a perilous area 1 die 8 inches away from the caster, and then
it moves.
It moves in a random that thing that Ether Tempest moves a D8 in a random direction.
So it just ricochets around the room.
Just bounces around. Just bounces around. There's an effect where you have to turn the spell over, and it cannot be used while it's face down, but at the end of each turn you get to roll a recovery check to try and get it back.
Oh, okay.
So you can try and get that spell back. Maybe you'll be able to recast it, maybe you won't. And then we get into the really bad stuff. Flux says that the spell has no effect and it cannot be used for the rest of the scenario. Plus, says, in addition, the player or players with the most fortune cards must discard X random cards.
Boy, that could be ugly.
Here's one that says the spell has no effect and cannot be used for the remainder of the scenario. In addition, the caster immediately moves 1 die 8 inches in a random direction. Could be bad if you get into involuntary moving and you run into another character or a wall. You have to take a peril. Spell has no effect and cannot be used for the remainder of the scenario. In addition, the caster must draw 1 horror card. Draw 1 horror card. So a little bit of the brain starts to sneak away. But we all know the horror cards can have good effects too. Another one says spell cannot be used for the remainder of the scenario. In addition, the caster suffers X hits.
That's a calamity.
And then there's an effect that says draw 2 more mishap cards and apply both of them to your character. So that's always lots of fun. Right now I have about 13 different ones, and I'm going to post this hopefully very soon over on the Pulp Alley Players group. And I'd like some feedback from y'all if you have other ones that you'd like to see added, which isn't a huge help, but if somebody has something really, really cool that they want added, then we'd like to know. But we also want to know, are there things on there that you would
we make like a D10 chart, or would we make cards?
We don't use charts. We do not use charts.
So
no charts during a game. These will be on cards. They're only on a chart right now because I don't want to make a deck until I'm actually a little bit further along. But I'd like to reduce it down to 10 because that's in the initial Pulp Magic deck. Right now, I feel like I have room for about 10 cards. So when we post it, I hope you guys can give us some feedback and let us know.
I've always wanted to learn how to darn socks. Kevin Slayer had socks to darn.
Cards for unsuccessful attempts. Random impairment. Yep. We could have something get impaired on your personage. Good suggestion too.
Okay, you ready for your next question?
Oh yeah. What you got?
Director. Do I become the director when I successfully cast a spell?
Bessy, what do you think?
Niet
would be correct.
No.
Yeah. Right now, no. I mean, there's actually a spell that just makes you the director. If you really want to be the director, take that spell and then you can can just go, okay, well, I'm going to cast this and make me the director. Remember, again, we want the magic to live light on the rules. So we don't want the magic to change things. So right now, the way everything is written, there's no reason to think that by casting a spell at somebody, that's somehow going to give you the initiative or make you the director, right? Because there's still two things you have to do. One, complete a plot point. Two, win a fight. And casting a spell at somebody, just like throwing a burst at someone, is not a fight. And the difference that we've always looked at there is that you're not actually putting yourself at much of a risk when you're just dropping a burst, because it's not resolved as a fight. The opponent doesn't get to shoot back, yada, yada, yada. So something to think about.
Yeah. I don't think this is really a question, but it's kind of a comment.
All right.
You want me to say it?
Okay.
Okay. Some successfully cast spells may have little to no effect.
Yep. So, those are things that you kind of discover as you go through this.
Mhm.
But right now, based on the timing of the way things work, and you'll see this more when we get to using wizard versus wizard scenarios. And we are.
Yeah.
This Sunday's, I don't think there's going to be a wizard this Sunday on the opposing side. Maybe we'll sneak one in there. I'm not sure yet. But definitely the week after we want, and I guess maybe that'll be Nay.
That'll be Nay.
We're going to have some wizard on wizard action, possibly.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're going to see it a little bit more there. Basically, it is this, that weak spells, even if they're successfully cast, may not have much of an effect. Here's a few examples. Ignis Ictus. The enemy has to roll a health check. Well, if you only get one success with your Ignis Ictus, they can pass that health check and go, pshaw, it didn't hurt me. Fragor, every enemy character within 12, not every enemy, that's not what it does. The number of successes you roll equals the number of targets that you could pick within 12 inches. So maybe you get 2, maybe 3 people, but if they pass their health checks, they're not going to be hurt. But here's another one. Like, even if you do an enchantment and you get it successfully on somebody, like you get something that impairs their recovery check, or no, let's say you cast something on them that impairs their might or brawl, or hinders it, like Debilitari does. Ron's Debilitari hinders their might and brawl. So if I cast that, and then if I only get one success on the next turn, if Ron has to go before the enemy goes, then when Ron activates, you're going to take that counter off of the enchantment.
Yeah. And then
as soon as it has no counters on it, it is removed. And just like that, even though you thought you got it off and put the Debilitari on it, because of the sequence of events there, it caused it to fade. And things like that, those are just very weak versions of those spells. That's how you can explain that, is that, it was successfully cast, but it was too weak to really have any effect.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Can I cast the same spell more than once?
Yes. Yeah. And we talked about this, I think, a little bit in the spell casting video. So there's a spell casting video up there. So there are several things that you could do there. Like, let's say I have Ron with Debilitari. And he wants to whammy some jammy.
Ooh, some whammy jammy.
Some whammy jammies.
Ah.
So, So if he throws debilitari on this spider, and let's say he gets 2 successes, and then if he wants to, on the next turn, when he activates, he's going to take a counter off of that, right?
Yep.
Now, on this activation, he has to decide, do I throw debilitari on the other spider, or do I cast it back over here? And if I cast it over here, if I roll 2 successes, I'm going to put 2 counters. That's what the spell says to do. So now look, now I've got 3 counters on that spider, or I could have cast it over here and put it on here. So yes, the spells can be cast multiple times.
And you can stack your stackers.
You could stack your counters. Yeah, you can stack your counters. That it works particularly well with Luminiter. Luminiter. Who has my Luminiter? Harry does. Harry has my Luminiter. Is that right? Does he have Luminiter?
I believe
Is
so.
this the one?
Yeah.
So Luminiter could totally break this scenario. Like either the spell will be broken or the scenario will be broken. Because I don't have any shooting monsters in this particular scenario. Everything is hand to hand. So if you just put if Harry just starts off by casting this and he just keeps it, if he's able to keep it up for the whole game and he stays in front, the NPCs will never try and go around him, and they'll just keep bouncing off of him. So Luminiter could potentially break the scenario, and that's what we want to know. This is called playtesting. So we want, if it's going to happen, if this is when we want it to happen, so that we can nerf it or twist it or add another rule or try and fix it. The fact that he has to cast it as a full action, and it is a full action to cast Luminiter, means that he can't move and do it in the same turn. So on turn 1, he could cast it. Let's say he gets 2 successes, which is what I would guess that he would roll. On the next turn, he's going to take 1 counter off of that, and he could move. He could either move 6 inches, or because this is a difficult area, he could try to run 12 inches. He still has a counter on it. So the monsters are all going to bounce off of it. Then on his turn again, on his.
Are you sure Luminiter's the one that does that?
Is that not it?
I think that's the one that says
that's not the right one. I'm sorry. It's Abscutum.
So it's Ron.
It's Ron's spell. Sorry, not Luminiter. Abscutum.
It's okay.
Abscutum's the bouncer. And it's Ron that has that.
Anyway.
So, could you create a sequence of events there that would perpetually keep Abscutum up, and keeping Ron in front would basically mean that the NPCs would just keep bouncing off of him. And if you could keep him advancing, I don't know. It may be too much. It may be too much to actually work. But
especially because this scooting
is directly away. The Abscutum.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to move directly away, and not to get complicated or anything, but it has to do with where those 2 circles meet, and then you should move directly away. Most of the time, you could say that they move away the same direction that they came, so that if they move in, they go back in that same direction.
Yeah.
Better check than never. Loving the stacking. Oh, well, thank you.
Okay. Can I use the spell rule to represent psychic effects or psionics?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely something that we intend to use it for as well. You could even use the spells to represent like mutations or, just whatever. It's not just for spells, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not just with wands.
Mm-hmm.
It's
finger
not...
magic. Some of that Some of that
Some of
finger
this.
wiggling.
Some of these.
Some of these. Head
Some of
popping.
these. Some of that.
Yep.
Some of those.
Some of these. Yep. Got them all.
Whoop, whoop.
Stooges magic. Stooge magic.
Hey, that's the best kind.
So we'll post.
Oh my good God.
Is that an advertisement? It was like during the video.
Dirty dog bastards.
Oh my gosh. Did anybody else see that? Did anybody else get an advertisement?
That's outrageous.
Like in the middle of a live? Like, how does that work? Do they pause the video?
I guess so.
And then it restarts?
I think somebody else, I think
yeah, I just
a week
got
or so
the
ago,
ad.
somebody
I
said
did.
one.
Nose wiggle magic. That's gonna be a
hard.
whole separate category. Whole separate category for the nose wiggle. What the? How does that work? Does it shell out for the YouTube premium? I shall die upon this hill. It's worth it. Okay. So hopefully I can talk Bessy into playing with Charlie this weekend. So maybe Charlie and Bessy will play going through the dungeon. I'll just run the monsters for them.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
I've
I'll just play the
started feeling really kind of stretched and spread out a little more than what I would like to right now. Just had surgery. Before that, we just had Joe have surgery. Joe starting school, and things have been kind of crazy right now. And maybe I can get everything kind of to line up. But I've almost felt like I wasn't really even able to work on the magic stuff hardly at all like the last couple days. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to play a scenario with Chris Abbey using his awesome Rob Roy characters. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Working on getting a couple scenarios put together for that. And so what that means is I'm working on this stuff over here, and then I'm not working on this. And then when I'm working on the spells, I'm not working on the Tomb of the Serpent. So Dave's not getting a lot done, I feel like.
Perhaps you have too many irons in the fire.
Feel like I'm not getting much done. Maybe I have too many things going, and maybe is this the wrong time to be working on the magic? Do I have to revisit that and say, you know what, I'm going to have to pull back on the magic and maybe wait until, the beginning of next year and try and get Tomb of the Serpent done? Is Tomb of the Serpent already too late to get done this year, though? See, these are the questions I probably need to talk over with Bessy and see what we're going to do.
In private?
Because I'm not going to release Tomb of the Serpent, or I'm not going to do another release at the end of the year anymore, because then we don't
want to get into holiday traffic.
Holiday traffic, holiday shipping, yada, yada, yada. So that creates a lot of problems. So
yeah,
at this point, I'm already getting into that area that unless Tomb of the Serpent was ready to release today, it would take a couple months, and then that puts us into December. So doesn't look like second edition Tomb of the Serpent is going to make it this year, which is disappointing, but it is what it is. And
well, things came up unexpectedly that so life happens.
Deal with that.
We had some pretty big things.
Yep. Anywho, we'll keep you updated on everything. The ad never showed on my big. Oh, see, if you have the big TV, if you have the big TV, they wouldn't dare. Just when you thought you were out, they pulled you back in. I don't know what that meant. Did I miss something? Vern, we need to play soon, he says. Yes.
It says the problem is you work on what you're excited about.
That is true, Marty. Yeah, I tend to focus on what?
I've been called out of retirement back to teaching. Vern Jeske.
Oh, Vern. Well,
To be fair, I wouldn't let Vern go either.
I know. I know.
The Vern Jeske?
I know. I know.
Could you imagine Vern Jeske being your teacher?
I know.
Oh, I would love that class. I
Oh,
don't even
I
know
want
what
to
to
go
teach.
right
Oh,
now.
I'd go.
I'll go.
I'd
I'm
sign
gonna
up.
go enroll.
I'd
I'm
enroll.
gonna go enroll.
I could listen to him
That's
read
it
a
for
phone
tonight.
book.
Boys and girls, thank you for joining us. What a wonderful pulp gaming community that we have. And y'all are the reason why it's so cool. We really, really do appreciate you guys. Really do. So join us on Sunday for our live game. There's going to be a couple of cool videos pop up on the next couple of days, though, so don't miss those.
Don't miss them.
And we'll see you soon. Bessy, play us out of here. Bessy. Dave. Vern Jeske.
Woo!